Hello everyone, welcome again to CeelMovie Recaps. Today I am going recap a 2024 movie called Bride Price. The movie is about a man who wishes to marry this beautiful lady. Aloysius calls his fiancée from the market. He tells her not to keep applying so much makeup on her face because she is naturally beautiful. She on the other hand wants to know if he got everything in the bride price list. Aloy switches the call to his friend Emika. The friend complains that printing Aloy's bride price list has exhausted his office papers. As tradition demands, any person wishing to marry from Ada's village are presented with a list of items they must provide. Emika is surprised at the amount of items on the list. He suggests to his friend to attempt speaking to the father of the bride, to get him to cut down the list. Aloy goes to see his father-in-law. He pleads with him to cut down the items on the list. His reason being that he is just starting his life and his business. He intends to have some resources left after the marriage for his family to fall back on. His father-in-law tells him that he will do no such thing. If he says that he is ready for marriage, he would provide everything on the list. He warns him that if he is incapable of his responsibilities, he should stay clear of his daughter, and not block the road for other ready men professing interest in his daughter. He dismisses him as he hears a car horn from the front yard, indicating the arrival of Ada's ex. The man sprays huge amount of money on Ada's father. He is a wealthy man who wishes to marry Ada, but unfortunately for him, Ada doesn't want to marry him. Back at his shop, Aloy is staring at his bride price list. A customer is negotiating a rice for an item. His assistant refuses the price, but he asks him to accept it. This is because he needs the money for buying the items on list. Ada is making some TikTok challenge for her online followers. She is supposed to make her fiancé jealous by pretending to rip her clothes on camera. She does it and got no reaction from Aloy. In his defense, he trusts her not to be one of those girls. Just some moments after, Ada receives some flowers. Naturally she thinks they are from her husband, but from the note, it came from her ex. Aloy feels bad about this. She reassures him saying it's him that she chose. She then places a call to the ex to reprimand him. She sets him straight in front of her man. Emika and Aloy are in a restaurant having their lunch. Emika tries to support his friend, but the remaining amount for the completion of the purchase of the items on the list is still huge. The two friends just felt like enjoying a meal in the midst of the storm. For the first time, Ada stumbles on the list. There are so many pages on the list. She calls her father to complain. She knows about the list, but didn't know it was that humongous. She wishes that her father reconsiders. She explains that some of the items listed are just outrageous. Emika and Aloy are still at the restaurant when he gets a notification about the Ponzi scheme he just invested in. Emika points out to him that in his desperation, he is making hasty decisions. Aloy is happy that the 50,000 he invested has doubled. He is about to invest 300,000. Emika is skeptical about this kinds of investments. They usually end in tears, he says. In his opinion, no genuine investments can make returns in just 2 weeks. Aloy doesn't want to hear any of that. She is bent on getting the money to help with the items on the list. He says that he will even resort to selling one of his kidneys if it comes to it. He loves Ada and would like nothing more than to marry her. The following day, in the market, Aloy gets chased down by one of his friends. The man got a word that Aloy has been to his shop twice, so he wishes to know what the urgency of the matter is. Aloy wants to dispose of some of his good at a very low price. As a good friend, the man rejects his offer knowing that it's coming from a place of desperation. They have known each other from the days of their apprenticeship. The man offers him some money to add to his resources for his marriage preparation. To the delight of Aloy, he shakes his hand and thanks him. Aloy keeps blurting the list in his dreams. Obviously the list is taking his sleep. Ada gets home from her outing. Aloy hides a piece of paper he was holding. She saw this and confronted him. It's a slip from a betting platform. Aloy blames it on Emika, saying that the man left it in his house after he came over. Ada has no other choice than to believe her fiancé. She asks him if everything is all right with the wedding arrangement. He reassures her. She opts to give him some money for some of the items on the list. He rejects the offer saying that it would mean that she is marrying herself. He says he has it handled. Aloy places a call to a potential buyer for his PS5. A distress call came to Aloy, the lady that introduced him to Oasis Investment. It turns out that the Ponzi scheme is turning out to be exactly what Emika predicted. He barks at the lady to provide his 600,000 because he doesn't have so much money to throw around, as if he doesn't have enough on his plates. Aloy gets a visit from his sister who is mad that Aloy is planning to sell their father's land just to marry Ada. The sister is very furious. not just because he is selling the land but because he never mentioned it to her. The most pressing issue in Aloy's life is the fact that the numbers of the Oasis investment people are no longer going through. Aloy is freaked out. He can't believe that he just lost a huge amount of money to scammers. His friend offers him some money. Aloy hesitates at first, but Emika threatens to abandon him if he rejects his help. He even went further to organize some friends to try and raise money for Aloy's wedding. There is a few drinks for their light entertainment. His plan works. All the friends begin to contribute money for the upcoming wedding. On their way down to the village, Ada and her friend encounter a troublesome couple. They are arguing so loud, ignoring the fact that they are in a shared space. Ada's friend cautions them, checks on his friend to see if she is okay. Ada is just saying that she would have preferred a different space on the plane rather than where they are. The friend is of the opinion that if she wanted that she shouldn't have settled for Aloysius. She explains that she didn't settle. In a flashback, we are taken to the moment where she met Aloy. Her car got stranded on the road in a market. She was on her phone when a good Samaritan advises her to pocket her phone if she doesn't want to lose it. She does exactly that. She found herself in Aloy's shop where she asked for the spare part for her car. The man was just mesmerized by her beauty. She is sure that she did not settle. He later helped her with her car problem. Aloy is seen still buying goats from the market. Ada and her mum are having a mother-daughter moment in the village. She cries because she is happy her daughter is getting married. This is a bittersweet moment for the poor woman. On the other hand, things didn't go so well for Aloy in the market. He gets robbed and had to board the same vehicle with the goats he bought. He reassures his friend and his fiancée that he is fine and on his way. It's Ada's birthday. She gets a surprise from her friends and bridal train. They came to celebrate her special day with her. She is delighted by this. It's both her birthday and her wedding day. Her friend takes a picture to commemorate this beautiful and happy moment. A short moment after, Ada gets a call about a birthday present. She is supposed to go outside and see it, so she goes outside to behold her birthday gift from her fiancé. It turns out to be a car gift. Her friend is excited for her, not knowing whom it's from. Ada knows that her fiancé may not be able to afford such a gift given the expenses he is making for the wedding. It turns out that it's from her ex. She asks the driver to return it. She wants nothing to do with the arrogant man. It's the wedding day. Ada's father is mad that Aloy and his people are keeping him waiting. It turns out that the vehicle Aloy and his family is traveling in broke down. His sister is still angry with the whole arrangement. Their uncle calms her down, telling her she is doing the right things supporting his brother. Ada's father tells his kinsman that if Aloy doesn't make it in time, he won't allow him inside his compound. His kinsmen disagree with his notion, but he insists and tends to keep his word. On the other hand, Aloy and his people manages to fix their cars and are ready to get back on the road. He urges his drivers to be more careful. He nudges everyone to re-enter the car so they can get back on the road. Ada's father says that he is not begging anyone to marry his daughter. Keeping him waiting is a behavior that he won't tolerate. His kins keep calming him down. Inside, the bride is worried that Aloy hasn't been picking his calls. Her friend thinks that he changed his mind. Ada knows better. She knows that Aloy loves her enough and won't ever abandon her. She thinks that he might have been involved in an accident, so the friend reassures her. While with her mother, Ada expresses her worry. Her mother wishes to know why her daughter is marrying someone who is barely educated while she studied in Harvard and has a nice job. She tells her that she has dated the so-called well-accomplished men. They all turned out to be terrible. Her mother tells her that her ex will always be her father's first choice. Ada says that he can go ahead and marry him himself because she is definitely not going to. Aloy's family finally arrive at Ada's father's compound. They meet a closed gate. Ada's father had instructed his gateman to lock the gates. Ada's mother joins her husband and his people. She informs him that Ada is threatening suicide if he refuses to allow Aloy's family into the compound. He eventually changes his mind. He calls his gateman and instructs him to allow the visitors in. The marriage ceremony commences as soon as they are let into the compound. It turns out that the ceremony involves more extortion of money from Aloy and his family. The women present some items and money to the family, so does Aloy. It turns out that the amount presented is not enough for Ada's family. Aloy tells one of his kinsmen that he is not willing to give another dime to the process of the marriage. He has had enough of the insult. After some time, Aloy is convinced to go ahead with the marriage. He goes inside with his uncle. He meets his bride who is panicking. She believes that things are just falling apart. She cries. Ada's parents happen to be just above them. They witness Aloy caring for their child. He takes Ada into his arms and comforts her. The father finally realizes that Aloy sincerely cares for his daughter and that is sufficient. He goes to his kinsman and is informed that Aloy has completed the amount that he is supposed to. He is pleased. He proceeds with the marriage ceremony. As tradition demands, he fills a large cup with palm wine, presents it to his daughter. He instructs her to give the wine to her husband as a sign of respect. He explains that he chose the size of the cup because the bigger the amount a man can gallop, the stronger he is according to tradition. Aloy and his bride are kneeling in front of Ada's father. He blesses them and prays for them, to the delight of everyone present. As they arise, he pronounces them husband and wife. Finally the couple are united in marriage, so Aloy takes his bride home. It's been 9 months after the wedding. Aloy is seen ignoring his mother-in-law's calls. His wife is not happy with this development. Ada is heavily pregnant. Her mother is calling perhaps to know how her daughter is doing. Ada is not happy that her husband has distanced her from her family after her marriage. Aloy explains that after all the torment and torture from her family, he is not willing to let them into their life. The conversation gets heated up. Ada acknowledges that Aloy suffered, but it is also true that she was right by his side. While she is yelling, she starts to experience pain. She calls on her husband. He rushes to her side. He quickly takes her to the hospital. Emeka rushes to the hospital once he got the news. Aloy tells him that he is now a proud father of a bouncing baby boy. Emeka is so happy and relieved to hear this. He advises his friend to please reconcile with his wife's family and allow them to see the baby. Emeka believes that this action will benefit Ada. She has been kept away from her family for so long. Emeka recalls to Aloy that it's Ada that gave him the check of 1 million that he gave Aloy. She knew that Aloy wouldn't collect a dime from her, so she sought out a different route. She is such a lovely lady. She loves Aloy and couldn't just sit by and allow him to suffer alone. Emeka wishes to find a lady like Ada who will be willing to support him just like her. Aloy finally understands exactly how things went down. A nurse comes to tell them that the baby is all prepped for them. This news pleases them, so they go in to see the baby. Aloy asks the mother of his son if there is anything she needs. He is so grateful that she has fulfilled his dream and would do anything to make her happy. He solicits the help of his friend with the task at hand. He surprises his wife with the presence of her family, who are happy to be allowed back into their lives. Aloy hands Ada's father the baby after he made him promise not to give him another ridiculous list. They all laugh and promise to live happily ever after. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe for more contents like this.